Mm. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hearts to Mom podcast. I'm Lauren Rose, and this is our 100th and probably final episode, at least for now. I've been procrastinating recording this because I kind of didn't want it to end, but I've had 99 really cool episodes so far, and I think this is a good stopping point at number 100. Thank you so much for listening over the past 2 years. This podcast has really helped me feel like I have a purpose in life and that I'm helping others. So, there are three parts to this episode. The first is what I've learned over the last 2 years. So, the biggest thing that I've learned is that it is possible to heal from chronic pain. I heard story after story after story of people who had chronic pain for 12 years, for 30 years. One lady had it for 40 years, and they all have found ways to heal themselves and not be in pain every day anymore. So, I'm not saying that it's going to be possible for everybody and that's 100%. I don't really understand it. A lot of it seems to have to do with the mind body connection. So I would start, if you're interested in learning more, the book The Way Out by Alan Gordon, work by John Sarno, Howard Schubiner, and Nicole Sachs. Those are all people that I keep hearing about over and over and over. So I would definitely at least look into it. That's certainly what I'm going to do and see if it helps me, even if I get some relief, even if I'm not cured. That's better than nothing at all, right? Number two, in this episode, I wanted to go over my 4 tips for living with chronic pain or illness. The first is talk to your kids and your family and your really close friends about your pain or illness. Understand your illness and pain in general. Do your research. There's a great book called A Day Without Pain by Mel Pohl, Pohl. It explains how pain signals are created. It's basically the biology of pain. It talks about factors that lead to or exacerbate chronic pain, and it offers multiple strategies for managing and improving chronic pain. Talk to your young kids. There's a book called Why Does Mommy Hurt by Elizabeth M. Christie. I read that to my daughter when she was, you know, 4, 5, 6 years old. And it's specifically for fibromyalgia, but I just inserted my own diagnoses. So I would read it and say arthritis and fibromyalgia, but you can insert whatever your diagnosis or diagnoses are. And this isn't just a one-time conversation. This is an often conversation. So when I'm spending time with my daughter, I say things like, "We need to wrap up playing dolls. Mom's hips are starting to hurt a lot." Or, my I can probably play for 20 or 30 minutes, then I'm gonna have to rest my back, things like that. So it's a constant conversation so that she always kind of knows that I have limits and that I need to take care of myself and listen to my body. Obviously, keep it age appropriate. Like when she was, 4 and 5, my daughter didn't really understand what I was talking about, but the book, Why Does Mommy Hurt, um, gave just examples of ways that a child needs to understand that the mom not only hurts, but is also tired and needs to take breaks and things like that. So keep it age appropriate. Older kids can understand a lot better. And I would also say answer questions honestly, but not necessarily in too much detail. So you know your child, your spouse, your family member, your friend, better than I do. So just keep it appropriate to what they are interested in, what they need to know, what they should know. Because they don't need to know every single thing, but if they can kind of understand where you're coming from, I think it'll help the relationship to thrive and for people to be more understanding. Now, my second tip is enlist help. If you have a baby, you'll get lots of help from offers. People will ask, let me know if you need anything. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Take them up on it. Tells people specifically what they can do. Like, could you watch the baby for an hour while I shower or while I run to the store or while I take a nap? And I always say, sleep when the baby sleeps or you won't sleep at all. If you've got a partner, family, older siblings, even a housekeeper, have them all help. A housekeeper's not as expensive even to come like once a month as you might think. I think it's like for my size house, like $120 once, each time he or she would come, which we can work into our budget some months. And for a deep cleaning, it might be like 150. But if that's spring cleaning that you don't have to do, that your body doesn't have to recover from, I think it's totally worth it. Teach children to do things on their own, like pick out their clothes, get dressed, put their toys away before playing with another one. Kids love being independent and showing you that they can do certain things. I also believe that enlisting help includes certain supplies like braces, a back brace, a knee brace, a wrist brace, things like that, a walking stick, a walker, a wheelchair. If you have trouble reaching up, a grab claw is really helpful. When I had migraines and I had a newborn baby, earplugs were an absolute lifesaver when she was screaming and crying and I had a migraine. My third tip is take care of yourself. Now, I mean this in three distinct ways. Um, the first one is the typical, try to eat well, get enough rest, try to move your body some. I also mean it as like do things that are joyful to you. If it brings you happiness, do it. I had one lady on an episode who loves blowing bubbles with bubble gum. That brings her immense joy, and so she does that. And it's all these little things in life sometimes that get away from us that we don't notice, that we take for granted, that could really bring us a lot of joy. And the third way I mean this is just in taking care of yourself. Do things like if you need therapy, even just once a month, do that. They've got online therapy options now. And one note on therapy is it's a therapist's job for you to not need them at some point. So if you're seeing the same therapist year after year with the same issue, you probably need a new therapist because they're not doing their job. Take care of yourself if you need medications, if you've got depression, anxiety, obviously for the chronic pain, there's no shame in that. The way I see medications is that they help us be the best version of ourselves. I also believe in natural supplements, CBD, turmeric with black pepper, vitamin D3 and B vitamins, magnesium, things like that. And the biggest way possibly to take care of yourself, in my opinion, is to listen to your body. You need to honor it, honor what it needs. Give yourself grace, pace yourself. That's been probably the biggest tip for myself is pacing myself. Um, I modify my tasks, I modify my chores. I sit down while I do just about everything from dishes to cooking to sweeping and mopping to laundry. I modify playing. If I can't sit on the ground and play dolls with my daughter, I'll lie on the bed and she might move all the dolls around and I'll just do the voices. And shopping, they've got online shopping. Almost everybody does it these days. It's just been a lifesaver. One thing about listening to your body and pacing yourself, I saw a meme recently that said, here's a gentle reminder, if you don't schedule a break, your body will take one for you and it probably won't be at a convenient time. And that really resonated with me that I really need to just be conscientious of what my body needs. If my body's telling me to stop or to take a break or to pause, I need to listen to it or else I'm going to be paying for it. I'm going to have recovery time. And my fourth tip for living with chronic pain and illness is just be present. I might be able to play with my daughter for 15 minutes and she's perfectly happy. She doesn't care if I'm lying down or if she has to, like I said earlier, move all the dolls and I just do the voices, or if she has to roll the die and move all the pieces on the board game. She just wants attention and to spend time with me. And that's what I've learned over the years is just being present with your children, with your family, with your friends. That's really what's super important. Okay, and the third part of today's podcast is a surprise guest, my daughter B. She was on my first podcast and answered a few questions for me, so I figured I'd ask her a few more on my last podcast. So,
Yay.
so first of all, what's it like living with a chronic pain person? Sorry. What's it like living with a parent who has chronic pain and illness for you?
I mean, it's scary because like I don't know how much you're hurting. You can tell me you're hurting a lot, so that doesn't tell me, but that doesn't tell me much. I never know if you're sick or if your back is hurting.
Yeah, I can imagine it could be scary not knowing how I feel each day. Generally, you know that I'm hurting all the time. It's just what level of pain am I in? If you could take a magic wand and have any wish you want, what would you wish were different about my health?
That your back doesn't hurt so much because that's what makes you lay down most of the day.
Yeah, my back is my worst pain. And speak a little bit louder, okay?
Sorry.
What do you want to tell parents that have chronic pain and chronic illness?
If you have children, try to push through as much as you can. If you start hurting, it's always okay to take a break if you need it.
Yeah, and I was just talking about how important it is to take breaks when our bodies are starting to hurt. That way they don't start to hurt even worse. So, thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Um, if you guys have multiple kids and you have chronic pain, just do the best you can. And either way, whether you're hurting on a day or you're not, they're still gonna love you no matter what.
Oh, and that's a good reminder because sometimes we feel like bad moms, bad dads because we're in so much pain and we can't do everything for you that we want to. I would love to come to your school and volunteer and be there all the time, decorating the school and making cookies and things like that. But that's just beyond my limits of my abilities, and I know that, so I can't do that. I do what I can. So thank you. And I hope you've enjoyed this 100th episode of the It Hurts to Mom podcast. For my freebie 30 ways to relieve pain without taking a pill, go to ithurtstomom.com/tips. If you want to contact me, email me at ithurtstomom@gmail.com. I wish everybody a blessed and pain-free day. Bye.
Bye.